Hello, sweet friends, and welcome to stellarjstudios. I'm Gina, and I am so happy you are here with me today. I am going to show you one of my favorite little shortcuts when I'm trying to tell a story. Now, this one is about getting stitches on my paper without actually sewing at that point in time. And what I mean by that is, for me, whenever I am creating, I feel like a piece is never really done unless it's got some sort of fabric or stitch on it. And that includes anything that I do, whether it's journaling or it's making art on some vintage book covers, making something on canvas, a painting. I always have to have some sort of a stitch. But the problem is that I'm not always near a sewing machine. And I don't always have my materials to hand stitch, nor is it always convenient to hand stitch. And sometimes the material is too thick for me to run my needle through by hand. So I love to collect a bunch of little fabric scraps, usually ones that are laying around on my table, and I like to run them through the sewing machine. And what happens is that I end up with a bunch of little scraps that I am then able to glue. So for this journal right here, I do have some machine stitching, but I also have these little bits that are stitched, but then just glued in. Now, I know that it's a little shortcut, that they truly weren't stitched into the book, but a person who may be just looking at this or glancing through it may not know that. And it adds a great amount of detail. It also shows the different stitches. So here you can see this is the back side of some machine stitching that I did on the edge. But then I have this little glued piece right here with this crazy little stitch, and it's in a different color. So it adds a nice little contrast. And it's just one more layer that adds to the interest of your art. So let me show you a couple of different ways that I do this. The first way is probably the one that is the most, I don't want to say easiest, but it's the one that takes me the most time, but also is the quickest for me to gather whenever I am creating. So it's doing some work up front, but then once I get the pieces together, I just put them in a baggie or a box, and when I'm journaling or creating, I just grab some of these out. So what I do is I just gather up a bunch of scraps, and these are literally scraps, things that I've cut from other projects. And if you're like me, I don't throw anything away, so I have them just scattered on my table. Every once in a while, I'll just gather these guys up and I'll just run them through the sewing machine. And it kind of takes some time because I like to play around with different stitches. I was playing around with this stitch yesterday, and then there's like some little pieces that take a little more time, so you can see they're a little messy, and I'm totally okay with that. So I have no idea what these are going to become once I've stitched them. So it's kind of fun to just go up there and free form and just play around with the different fabric scraps. Once I have sewed all of them, I just take them and cut them down. So like this big piece right here, that's too big. And so I'm just gonna snap it. Now, once I do this, I like to always, and this is just me personally, I like to always, when I'm collaging or grabbing scraps for my artwork, I like to take them as is, meaning I don't really like to change the shape too much, because I think that you get that interesting kind of free form type of, I don't know, exploration, I guess. Now look at this. This, when I was sewing it, this was the front, and this little scrap got caught on the back. So I think that's kind of cool. And so I'm gonna snip that right there. And so this will be something fun. So I don't really plan too much my shapes. I kind of like, I don't want to cut up a whole bunch of, you know, squares, because then that's going to be very I don't know, kind of boring, but like this shape right here. This is really cool. So I'm gonna go in like that. Now this is something that is hand stitched. It probably came off of a quilt block that I have in my stash, and I probably used some of the other pieces but left this. So I would love to put this in a journal or a piece of art, because not because I like the front, although the front's okay, it's these hand stitches, and I always like to see the hand stitching. If you've been with me a while, you know that I like to see the stuff that goes on behind the scenes or behind the piece of art. So I'm always looking for the backside to see all of the process. All right, so now that I've got me a bunch of scraps here, I would just put them in my little basket. And now I have some things to pull out when I'm journaling. So, for example, if I have this little book right here, and I've already done some painting. This is a little booklet that I made in a video. I will link the video below. Very simple fold. Lots of people have made these, you know, when you were in grade school and stuff, you probably made these little booklets. It only takes one piece of paper. So I just kind of did some paint and some crayon marks and stuff on it. So I'll just to show you how easy this is. So I'm looking through here and I'm like, okay, I just want to glue some things down. So I'm going to take one of my pieces that I've already, let me grab my glue, that I've already stitched, and I'm just going to add a glue stick, because glue sticks are really good and juicy, and they like fabric, especially when I'm using this lightweight fabric here in these little scraps. And I always use Elmer's all-purpose glue, not the school glue. I find that doesn't stick as much. Another cool thing about using these little fabric scraps is that once I have cut them up, see how I have many pieces now? And this creates continuity as you go through the journal. Now sometimes you can add a little tab, like I'm gonna glue here, flip it over, make sure that's not 2 pages. Nope, that's one. Flip it over. And so someone who sees this might think, oh, they stitched right here, but really we didn't. We just used some pre-stitched fabric. Ugh, I can't get my words out. Now, the glue is super sticky when it's juicy like this. So just be aware you're gonna have some sticky little fingers. And let's do one more, kind of like this piece. And I'm not really thinking about anything. I'm just kind of throwing down some fabric just to give it some interest. And I think let's go, you know, this little piece right here, it's begging me. It's begging me to do something with it. I think, ooh, let's just go up here. Oh, actually, wait, I got a better idea. Snip and snip. And there we go. So now I have this cool little booklet with this fun little story that's just starting. Where these fabric pieces will take me and the paint that I've already put on here, I have no idea. But it's something that gets me intrigued and it gets me curious, and it makes me want to take this story a little bit farther. I hope you are healthy. I hope you are happy. I hope you go do something creative today and possibly make you some pre-stitched fabric scraps. I think you're going to love them. Bye.